The story begins with Margaret White, a deeply religious and mentally disturbed woman. She believes everything is a sin, especially anything related to women and their bodies. One night, Margaret is lying on her bed covered in blood, screaming in pain. She thinks she is dying, maybe even from cancer, but in reality, she is giving birth. A few minutes later, she realizes she has become the mother of a baby girl. Margaret believes this baby is born out of sin. In fear and disgust, she even tries to kill her, but she can't do it. And this baby grows up to be Carrie White. Margaret raises Carrie under strict religious rules. She never lets Carrie talk to anyone, never allows her to have friends, and even tries to stop her from going to school. But when Carrie turns 16, she is forced to attend high school. Carrie is extremely shy and quiet, so the other students make fun of her. One day during a volleyball game, Carrie accidentally hits Sue Snell on the head with the ball. Sue's friend Chris starts insulting Carrie, and the whole group laughs at her. Later, the girls go to the locker room for showers. There, Carrie gets her first period. She has no idea what is happening to her and thinks she is dying. Terrified, she begs the other girls for help, but instead of helping, they laugh. Chris realizes Carrie doesn't know anything about periods. She starts bullying her even more. All the girls join in, throwing tampons at Carrie and recording the moment on their phones. Carrie cries and screams, but nobody helps her. Only Sue feels guilty, but she stays silent, afraid of becoming a target herself. Just then, gym teacher Miss Desjardins walks in and stops everything. Carrie is shaking and screaming in shock, so the teacher slaps her to calm her down. In that exact moment, Carrie looks up at a light bulb, and it explodes. This is the first sign that something supernatural is happening. The school principal is informed about the situation. He tells Miss Desjardins she has full permission to punish the girls. Then he tries to comfort Carrie and tells her that her mother has been called. But this news terrifies Carrie even more, because she knows her mother believes periods are a sin. She panics so much that she can't breathe, and suddenly the water cooler inside the office explodes by itself. Soon, Margaret arrives at school. Outside the building, she sees Chris kissing her boyfriend and prays for God to save these children from sin. On the ride home, Carrie asks her mother why she never told her about periods. Margaret refuses to answer. As Carrie gets out of the car, a boy mocks her and calls her weird. Carrie just stares at him, and he suddenly falls off his bicycle. Strange things keep happening around Carrie, and she doesn't know why yet. When they reach home, Margaret starts blaming herself. She hits her head against a wall and cries, saying she has given birth to a sinful child. Then she reads fake Bible verses and forces Carrie to believe that periods are dirty and sinful. But this time, Carrie refuses to believe her, because Miss Desjardins already told her the truth. Angry and frustrated, Margaret hits Carrie with a Bible and locks her inside a small prayer closet, telling her she can only come out after asking God for forgiveness. Carrie screams in anger, and the door begins to shake as if something is pushing it from inside. She looks at a statue of Jesus in the room, and suddenly it seems like blood is dripping from its eyes. Meanwhile, Sue is in the Jeep with her boyfriend Tommy. The two get close and enjoy their time together. But suddenly, Sue remembers Carrie. She realizes she never helped her in the locker room, and the guilt starts eating her up from inside. On the other hand, Chris is at home with her boyfriend Billy. She feels zero regret. In fact, she uploads the locker room video online to humiliate Carrie even more. Back home, Margaret acts like nothing has happened. She calmly sings a hymn and later frees Carrie from the prayer closet, only after believing that Carrie has begged God for forgiveness. The next day at school, Miss Desjardins gathers all the girls who bullied Carrie, Chris, Sue, and the rest. As punishment, they have to do suicide sprints for 1 hour every day for an entire week. If they refuse, they will be banned from attending prom. Hearing this, Chris loses control and openly challenges the teacher. Miss Desjardins suspends her on the spot and bans her from prom. Chris tries to turn the other girls against the teacher, but no one supports her, not even Sue. Soon, everyone in school watches the video of Carrie from the locker room. The bullying gets even worse. Someone writes on Carrie's locker, "Carrie White eats shit." Broken and angry, Carrie stares at a bathroom mirror, and it explodes by itself. This is when Carrie realizes she has a strange power, the power to move things with her mind. To understand it, she goes to the library and researches psychokinesis. She starts believing that, just like periods are normal, maybe this power is also normal for some people. Later in class, Carrie is called on the stage to read a poem. When she finishes, Tommy, Sue's boyfriend, jokes about it at first, but when the teacher asks him again, Tommy smiles and says it was actually beautiful. Carrie is shocked. It's the first time in her life a boy has said something nice to her. Meanwhile, Chris drags her lawyer father to school, hoping to remove the prom ban. She pretends to be innocent and accuses Miss Desjardins of being unfair. But when the teacher asked for her phone as evidence, the same phone that contains the bullying video, Chris refuses, and that proves she is guilty. That night, Carrie tests her powers in her room. Books float in the air. Her bed rises off the floor. She creates a magical world around her. Margaret hears the noise and rushes upstairs with a knife, but Carrie quickly pretends to be asleep. Margaret leaves, unaware of the truth. The next day, Sue asks Tommy to take Carrie to prom. She believes Carrie deserves at least one happy night in her life. Tommy refuses at first, but agrees for Sue. He goes to Carrie and invites her to prom himself. Carrie is terrified and thinks he is mocking her. She runs away crying. Later, Miss Desjardins finds her, and Carrie explains everything. The teacher encourages her, but even she doubts Tommy's intentions. She warns Sue and Tommy that if this is some kind of joke, they must stop right now. After school, Tommy goes to Carrie's house again. Carrie panics because her mother doesn't allow her to talk to boys. Tommy stands firm. He'll only leave if Carrie says yes to prom. Carrie finally agrees, with one condition: she must return home by 10:30 p.m. For the first time in her life, Carrie begins to feel normal. She begins to feel like the girl she always wanted to be, but this hope will soon turn into horror. To get ready for prom night, Carrie goes shopping, but every dress she likes is too expensive for her. So she buys fabric instead and decides to sew her own dress. Chris sees Carrie at the store and burns with jealousy. She and her friends begin planning something horrible for prom night, something that will destroy Carrie forever. When Carrie reaches home, she finds Margaret waiting in anger. Carrie tells her mother she is going to prom, but Margaret refuses. This time, Carrie does not stay silent. With rage building inside her, objects around the room start floating in the air. Margaret calls this the work of the devil and starts praying loudly. Carrie tells her to stop, but she keeps praying harder and louder. So Carrie lifts her mother into the air using her powers. Margaret freezes in shock. Carrie gently lowers her and says, "Enough!" Meanwhile, Chris, Billy, and their gang drive to a farm. They kill a pig and collect its blood. Later, they sneak into the school gym and set up a bucket full of pig's blood above the stage. Their plan: as soon as Carrie is crowned on stage, the blood will fall on her. Prom night arrives. Carrie puts on light makeup in her beautiful pink dress. She looks nervous, but happier than ever. Margaret mocks her, saying everyone will laugh at her. Carrie locks her mother inside the prayer closet and leaves. Tommy arrives and is shocked to see how beautiful Carrie looks. Holding hands, they walk into prom together. Tommy introduces her to his friends. Miss Desjardins compliments her dress. Carrie finally begins to feel normal, like she belongs. Slowly, her fear fades. She dances with Tommy, smiling and blushing. For the first time in her life, this night feels magical. But danger is already waiting. Chris and Billy sneak into the school gym. They have even rigged the voting so that Carrie and Tommy will win prom king and queen. Their goal is simple: humiliate Carrie in front of the entire school. Chris even tells Sue about the plan. Sue panics and rushes to stop it. Carrie and Tommy's names are announced as the winners. The whole hall explodes with cheers. Sue reaches the gym just in time and sees Chris standing above the stage, ready to pull the rope. Sue tries to warn someone, but Miss Desjardins misunderstands the situation. Thinking Sue wants to ruin Carrie's night, she locks her outside the gym. At that exact moment, Chris pulls the rope. The bucket tips over, and pig's blood pours all over Carrie. The crowd gasps, then bursts into laughter. The locker room video begins playing on the big screen. Carrie stands frozen, covered in blood, her dream turning into a nightmare. Miss Desjardins runs forward to help, but it's too late. Carrie snaps, and without touching her, she throws the teacher backward. Everyone in the hall realizes the truth. Carrie isn't normal. Then the bucket falls from above and hits Tommy's head. He collapses and dies instantly. Seeing Tommy dead, Carrie completely loses control. She screams and a wave of telekinetic force pushes everyone back at once. Chris and Billy race out of the gym in their car, but the others aren't so lucky. As people try to escape, Carrie locks every door and window. Tables and chairs fly across the hall, crushing students one by one. Girls fall to the ground and are trampled in panic. When stage lights and wires explode, fire spreads everywhere. Carrie spares Miss Desjardins by placing her safely on the stage, but everyone else dies in the flames of the gym. And this is just the beginning of Carrie's revenge. After destroying the entire gym, Carrie floats outside and walks down the street searching for Chris and Billy. Billy sees her in front of the car and speeds up, trying to run her over. But Carrie stops the car with her mind. The impact throws Billy forward. His head smashes into the dashboard and he dies instantly. Chris grabs the wheel and tries again to kill Carrie. but Carrie lifts the entire car into the air and slams it into a gas station. Chris is trapped in shattered glass and slowly dies, and Carrie simply watches her, silent and empty. Covered in blood and exhaustion, Carrie returns home. Margaret is nowhere in the prayer closet. Carrie takes a bath and washes herself clean. For a moment, she looks like a normal girl again. But when she steps out, Margaret is waiting. Carrie hugs her and breaks down, saying, "You were right. They all laughed at me." Margaret believes this is punishment for sin. Without warning, she grabs a butcher knife and stabs Carrie in the back. Carrie falls and crawls away, but Margaret keeps attacking like a madwoman. In the kitchen, she pins Carrie to the floor and raises the knife to stab again, but Carrie uses her telekinetic power to stop her. Sharp objects around the kitchen fly into Margaret's body, nailing her to the wall like a crucifix. She gasps in pain, then slowly dies. Carrie screams and sobs, horrified by what she has done. With nothing left to live for, she unleashes her full power. The entire house begins collapsing. Suddenly, Sue arrives and tries to save her. For a moment, Carrie almost kills Sue too, but then she senses something. Sue is pregnant. Carrie pushes Sue out of the collapsing house, saving her life. A second later, the entire house caves in, burying Carrie and Margaret together beneath the rubble. Months later, Sue is in a hospital bed giving birth. She screams in pain. Suddenly, a bloody hand bursts out from her stomach, and she wakes up screaming. It was only a nightmare, but it felt real. Her mother comforts her, but Sue still feels like something dark remains, like she is giving birth to Carrie herself. And that's the Carrie, 2013. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more movie explanation videos.